Alright, so this is iOS 7 running on an iPhone 4S. Alright, so it's a little bit different from the lock screen. You can see that they disable this little slide to unlock, and actually anywhere on this you can just slide to unlock. You can slide this way too, but it's limited. The camera button is still there, where you hit that and you swipe to unlock the camera. Just take a quick look at the camera. We see that it has the ability to tap this button to take photos. There's also video. You have a new square feature, and then panel. All that stuff is pretty basic. Okay, and obviously this is a beta, so it's going to reboot a bunch of times during this presentation because that's what Apple products like to do. Alright, and so swipe to unlock, and we get to our home screen, and you can tell already that the icons are super simplified. And we can swipe from the bottom to the top to access the new little control center that they have built in, and you have airplane mode, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, do not disturb, rotation lock, we have brightness settings, we have music right here, and we have AirPlay. And obviously I'm not connected to my Apple TV because I'm not at home. And there's also flashlight, which enables the little flashlight, LEDs on the back, timer, calculator, which launches calculator, 1 + 1 = 2, and you see that's redesigned as well. And everything here is super simplified. All right, so if we go to the calendar, we check today, we'll find that, hey, tomorrow actually, you can swipe over to get to the previous day, to the next day. Hit this back to go into month view, hit this back to go into basically year view, and go through different years and stuff. And if we go here and we check what I have tomorrow, it'll tell me, hey, I have an event, I have a blood test that I have to take, immunization, and that's there. It's also found a notification that says today, this is basically the weather is going to be this, and then down here tells you that there's an event scheduled for tomorrow at 10, and the afternoon is going to be free. All right, so messages is basically just simplified. Oh, actually, that's one I can share. Okay, so this is what Redbox sent me. And yeah, it's super simplified when you text back. You can see that the keyboard is actually white now. It's not that dull color that it was before. And it has all the same functionality. Siri and everything is already built in. Photos is a little bit different. We can see that, hey, the photos do work. Zoom in and stuff. They're organized a little bit differently. I'm sure you'll get used to it. Camera, I've already showed you that. And you can see that this is shuttering a little bit. This is, of course, the beta of this. Videos, if I had any, they'd be there. It just tells you go to the store. Maps, I don't know, maps haven't really changed that much necessarily. It's just design interface a little bit. Yeah. Weather's changed a lot. It looks a lot better now. You have your hourly forecast all the way up until the next morning or whatever, and it tells you exactly when the sun's going to set and when the sun's going to rise, chance of precipitation, the time, the temperature, and then there's also all of the other information. You can also swipe to other places, but I have no use for that. There's notes, and those are synced in the cloud. All right, reminders, those are synced too. Actually, there are a few problems with reminders right now. So here are all my classes. American Foundations, I have a bunch of journals that I have to do. But yeah, clock is a little bit different. You can also access it from this and hit the timer, and it'll go straight to the stopwatch or whatever. And it's all just minor tweaks. Over here, there's a cool feature. You can just tap on this to go back to clock view. Live icons, so obviously clock and weather live icons, that's actually the correct time. It is 12:43 and it is 12:43. I'm not going to go through App Store and iTunes Store. There's really no point. Basically, App Store gets a new little feature where it auto updates apps in the background, which is cool. Bunch of utilities that I'm never going to use. Compass actually became really cool. All right, complete the circle. Oh, complete the circle. You have to flip it all the way around. All right, cool. So that does that, and it just gives you basically where you're at. I'm in Rexburg. Which direction is it facing? Just a bunch of cool stuff. And let me just pick this up. All right, that's super bright. Hopefully it'll adjust. Here we go. You can see that it'll adjust for different compensations and stuff, which is cool. Let me set this back down. There you go. And then I'll adjust different things if you swipe over. And so you can see if I hit 0, it'll turn green. And different things like that. I mean, it's pretty cool. I don't know how useful it is for me right now. I don't really use it. Newsstand and all the other crappy apps are there too. It's FaceTime as well. Just stuff I don't know, I never use. Basically, yeah, you can see that it's auto updating apps in the background, Facebook, and I think Kindle. And yeah, Find My iPhone has gotten big improvement in here. I've never tried it, but basically it's implemented into the base operating system rather than a standalone app or a feature you can access and unaccess. You can remotely lock your phone, and in order to bypass it, there's really no way unless you actually know the person's Apple ID and password. And that's the only way to actually bypass this if they reset the phone. I know in previous versions, if you just reset the phone to whatever version of iOS it was, it deleted all the settings and you had an iPhone for basically limited effort required. This way it disables that, and so hopefully that is their reply to the Department of Justice's inquiries into the matter. I don't know, there's not really much else. There's obviously tabs here for all, everything like that, notification center, brightness, mail and stuff. There's really no other improvements that I can tell by myself. Battery life is obviously horrendous. It's a beta where it's not going to work at all perfectly. Multitasking, if I try to go into this, it's obviously using the WebOS interface for it. So those of you who know about WebOS obviously can say, hey, this is totally copying WebOS, but WebOS is no longer something there. And WebOS, honestly, I don't think Palm gives a frick. They're no longer a company anymore, but the fanboys will definitely be like, oh my gosh, that's not unique, Apple, that's not original, that's totally following WebOS as design, and I'd have to say yes, it does. As a beta, how reliable is this? I mean, personally, other than the time at the beginning of the movie, about a minute into it, that this thing totally crashed. I don't think this thing is that bad, to be quite honest. For a beta, when it first had issues, I was like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. Then I realized, hey, this is not an actual Goldmaster release or anything like that, where all these issues have been out for a while and can be fixed. And this is obviously a brand new implementation of the operating system. And yeah, there's not much they can do without actually having people come out and actually test it. So there you go. That's my brief introduction to iOS 6, and when it comes out this fall, I'll have another review. Thanks for watching.